9:31 on this Wednesday morning. And it's about this time on Wednesdays we present Ask the Lawyer with Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured who answers questions of a legal nature. And perhaps you've even submitted a question in the past. If so, we're going to find out right now if you get an answer today. Would you please help me welcome attorney for the injured, Bruce L. Scheiner. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Todd. How are you doing this morning?
Absolutely fine. How about you?
Doing great, thank you.
Sounds like you're on the road.
Yes, sir. I've got a driver, and we're on I-75.
Leave it to you, though, to take time out of your busy schedule. I'm sure you've got an important appointment or something, and you're going to help us out with a question. That is very much appreciated.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Todd.
Well, let's get right into it and see what you think of today's trouble. And somebody does have some trouble here. You ready?
I'm ready, Todd.
Okay, our email says, my brother was riding his bike when he was struck by a car running a stop sign. The driver who hit him had a suspended driver's license and no insurance. My brother was taken to the hospital with very severe injuries, including a broken leg and arm. He will need multiple surgeries and will not be able to work for months. What is so frustrating is my brother has always been a safe driver, carried insurance, and played by the rules. And now he is stuck with enormous medical bills and no income. Is there anything a lawyer can do? Well, that last part of it is known as Murphy's Law. If you play by the rules, you do everything right, this is the jackpot you end up in sometimes. The good news is somebody like Bruce L. Scheiner can provide answers. What do you think?
Well, hopefully, since he's always maintained good insurance, he has uninsured motorist coverage.
Yeah.
And that's one thing most people don't understand is they could be riding a bike. They don't even have to be in a car. They could be riding a bike or a pedestrian. And if they get struck by someone that doesn't have insurance or doesn't have sufficient insurance,
right,
they could recover under their uninsured motorist coverage or a resident relative in their household. So if he lives with his mom and dad and they have uninsured motorist coverage, that would help him.
Yeah, even if he's like roommates with his brother, that would count?
Yeah, as long as it's a resident relative, so a brother would count.
As long as we've been doing this, as many times as we've had conversations on uninsured motorist coverage, even I forget in between that is a valuable asset even for a bicycle rider or a pedestrian.
Yeah, it's so important because, as we've talked before, Florida is the second worst state in the United States. One out of every 4 cars are uninsured.
Now, I think I know the difference, but explain to everybody why, if he has the stacking form of uninsured motorist coverage, that would be the best.
Well, stacking provides that you add each coverage together. So if you have 2 cars and a motorcycle and stacking uninsured motorists on each one, you get to add the coverage from all 3 vehicles. So if you had 300,000 on each vehicle, you would then have 300 over 900,000 of uninsured motorist coverage.
And with the injuries he has, the time he's going to be without income, and you figure in pain and suffering and that kind of thing, it's going to be substantial, isn't it?
Oh, it's crazy, the amount of medical bills today. A good friend was in a motorcycle accident. He was in the emergency room for 3 hours and came out with a $30,000 bill.
Wow.
So while it might sound a lot to have 300,000 of uninsured motorist coverage, if you're in a bad accident, that number, you could use that up real quickly.
You sure could. So really all we have to find out here to start the process is if he's got the uninsured motorist coverage, and he really should get a legal professional to help him with this, right?
Yeah, he should get a legal professional, because one thing a lot of people don't realize is you could have very high medical bills, and if you can't make a recovery that you should be able to, a good lawyer could work and get those bills reduced.
That's wonderful news. Great stuff. And see, this is why, I know it's not exactly why, but we call Bruce Scheiner the biker's lawyer. Typically we mean motorcycles, but when it comes to a bicycle, you're just as comfortable taking on a case like this, right?
Oh, yes, sir. And, it's really a shame because I love to ride a bicycle.
Yeah, me too.
But but I get so many calls of bicycle accidents that I don't go out and ride a bicycle on the streets.
Yeah. Well, Bruce, thank you so much for helping out in this situation this morning. I wish you safe travels wherever you're headed, and certainly look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you, Todd. It's my pleasure to be able to help.
All right. Say hi to everybody and take care.
Okay, Todd. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured, and Ask the Lawyer, the segment of the week here with an answer that hopefully helps somebody. Now, if you need help, and I mean more immediate help than waiting for your question to be asked on the radio, please call the Port Charlotte office of Bruce L. Scheiner and Associates at 941-743-7777. That's 743-7777. One more time, 743-7777. And tell them that Todd sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.